Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome back to Clarity English Studio. I'm Anna, your host for today's fascinating episode.
And I'm Mike. It's absolutely fantastic to be here with all of you, our amazing listeners, no matter where you are tuning in from today.
Mike, before we properly kick off, are you doing okay? You sound a little different today. A bit sniffly, perhaps?
Oh, I'm fine, Anna. Just sniffles. Sorry about that. My nose has been having a bit of a party, a very unwanted party, all week.
Oh no, Mike. It sounds distinctly like the dreaded allergies, am I right? That springtime nemesis?
I think so, honestly. My eyes are constantly watering, my nose feels like a leaky faucet that won't turn off, and I swear I feel like my face is just melting. It's a real mess.
That sounds absolutely disgusting, Mike, but also a very enthusiastic welcome to the month of March. It's a classic.
You're telling me. March has definitely chosen me as its primary victim this year. I blame the blossoming nature.
Well, March has a tendency to do this to pretty much everyone, doesn't it? The flowers begin to push their way up, the air starts to change.
And then, seemingly out of nowhere, your nose suddenly declares an all-out war on your entire respiratory system. It's relentless.
My nose declared war. That's actually a brilliant way to describe the experience, Mike. Very vivid.
It feels like a war, Anna. A tiny, itchy, snotty war. But I'm glad my suffering can contribute to something useful.
And it absolutely can, because funnily enough, your discomfort is perfectly aligned with our topic today. We are talking all about March in English.
Oh, great. So I'm over here suffering, feeling absolutely miserable, and you want to turn it into a lesson. That's just typical.
Your pain, Mike, is our educational content. But seriously, March is a genuinely fascinating month to discuss.
It really is. March is, of course, the third month of the year. It gracefully follows February and always precedes April.
And if I had to pick, I'd say it's probably the most confusing month of the entire year when it comes to predicting the weather. Utterly baffling.
Confusing? What exactly do you mean by that, Anna? Confusing is a strong word for weather patterns.
I mean, the weather in March is just completely and utterly unpredictable. You simply never ever know what you're going to get when you step outside.
Unpredictable. That's a really useful word for our listeners. It means you cannot guess or foretell what will happen next, right?
Precisely, Mike. One day you wake up and it's gloriously sunny and unexpectedly warm. You think spring has finally arrived.
And then, the very next day, you're greeted by biting cold temperatures and a relentless downpour of rain.
Sometimes both extremes manage to happen within the same afternoon. It's like the weather has multiple personalities.
That is so incredibly true. Last week, I made the mistake of leaving the house in just a t-shirt because the morning was just beautiful.
I bet you regretted that decision.
By lunchtime, I was absolutely freezing. I had to buy a ridiculously expensive coffee just to warm my hands.
See, March is constantly trying to trick you. You begin to feel that hopeful flutter of spring, only for March to whisper, "Nope, not quite yet."
March is like that friend who enthusiastically promises, "I'll be there in 5 minutes," and then proceeds to arrive a full 2 hours later. It's a total prankster.
Oh, that is the perfect analogy, Mike. And speaking of perfect, there's actually a really fantastic English expression about March weather.
Have you ever heard the saying, "March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb"? It's a classic.
Oh, I think I have heard that before, actually. It rings a bell. But what does it mean exactly? Can you break it down for us?
Certainly. It means that the beginning of March is typically characterized by wild, blustery, cold, and stormy weather.
Like a powerful, strong, and aggressive lion making its grand entrance with a roar. I can picture that perfectly.
Exactly. And then the end of March is usually much calmer, gentler, and warmer, more pleasant, like a little lamb.
Ah, yes, a lamb is a baby sheep for our listeners. Very soft, very quiet, and typically associated with peace.
So the core idea is that March starts off quite rough and temperamental, but it usually ends on a much nicer, more clement note.
I absolutely love that expression. It's so poetic. But let's be honest, Mike, is it always true? Does it always play out that way?
Not always, Anna. Sometimes, if we're being completely realistic, March comes in like a lion and then goes out like a slightly smaller, perhaps more tired lion.
That sounds a lot more realistic and relatable, especially after your week. Okay, so what's March weather usually like where you are, Anna?
For me, March typically starts with mornings that are quite cold, sometimes even frosty. You definitely need a proper coat.
But then, by the afternoon, it can often become surprisingly mild. You might even find yourself unzipping that coat.
Mild. That's a lovely, gentle word. Mild means not too hot, but also not too cold. It's just pleasant and comfortable. Just right.
Exactly. You might say, "It's quite mild today, isn't it? I don't think I'll need my heavy winter jacket after all."
I really appreciate mild weather. Nothing too extreme, just a nice, easy, comfortable temperature. It's a welcome relief after winter.
But here's the inherent problem with March, isn't it? The mild parts often don't last for very long. They're fleeting moments.
You might be enjoying a beautiful, mild afternoon, basking in the unexpected warmth, and then suddenly a strong gust of wind hits you.
A gust? What exactly is a gust? Is that different from just regular wind?
Yes, it is. A gust is a sudden, powerful, and very strong push of wind. It's not a constant, steady breeze.
It's more like one big, unexpected whoosh that seemingly comes out of nowhere, catching you completely off guard.
Also, everything is perfectly calm, you're enjoying your day, and then whoosh, suddenly your hair is everywhere.
And your carefully balanced coffee cup might just be on the ground, spilling everywhere. Exactly that experience.
That has literally happened to me, Mike. I was holding my coffee, feeling perfectly serene. A gust came and the lid flew right off. Coffee everywhere.
See, March is constantly trying to trick you. You begin to feel that hopeful flutter of spring, only for March to whisper, "Nope, not quite yet."
March is like that friend who enthusiastically promises, "I'll be there in 5 minutes," and then proceeds to arrive a full 2 hours later. It's a total prankster.
Oh, that is the perfect analogy, Mike. And speaking of perfect, there's actually a really fantastic English expression about March weather.
Have you ever heard the saying, March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb? It's a classic.
Oh, I think I have heard that before, actually. It rings a bell. But what does it mean exactly? Can you break it down for us?
Certainly. It means that the beginning of March is typically characterized by wild, blustery, cold, and stormy weather.
Like a powerful, strong, and aggressive lion, making its grand entrance with a roar. I can picture that perfectly.
Exactly. And then the end of March is usually much calmer, gentler, and warmer, more pleasant, like a little lamb.
Ah, yes, a lamb is a baby sheep for our listeners. Very soft, very quiet, and typically associated with peace.
So the core idea is that March starts off quite rough and temperamental, but it usually ends on a much nicer, more clement note.
I absolutely love that expression. It's so poetic. But let's be honest, Mike, is it always true? Does it always play out that way?
Not always, Anna. Sometimes, if we're being completely realistic, March comes in like a lion and then goes out like a slightly smaller, perhaps more tired lion.
That sounds a lot more realistic and relatable, especially after your week. Okay, so what's March weather usually like where you are, Anna?
For me, March typically starts with mornings that are quite cold, sometimes even frosty. You definitely need a proper coat.
But then, by the afternoon, it can often become surprisingly mild. You might even find yourself unzipping that coat.
Mild. That's a lovely, gentle word. Mild means not too hot, but also not too cold. It's just pleasant and comfortable. Just right.
Exactly. You might say, "It's quite mild today, isn't it? I don't think I'll need my heavy winter jacket after all."
I really appreciate mild weather. Nothing too extreme, just a nice, easy, comfortable temperature. It's a welcome relief after winter.
But here's the inherent problem with March, isn't it? The mild parts often don't last for very long. They're fleeting moments.
You might be enjoying a beautiful, mild afternoon, basking in the unexpected warmth, and then suddenly a strong gust of wind hits you.
A gust? What exactly is a gust? Is that different from just regular wind?
Yes, it is. A gust is a sudden, powerful, and very strong push of wind. It's not a constant, steady breeze.
It's more like one big, unexpected whoosh that seemingly comes out of nowhere, catching you completely off guard.
Also, everything is perfectly calm, you're enjoying your day, and then whoosh, suddenly your hair is everywhere.
And your carefully balanced coffee cup might just be on the ground, spilling everywhere. Exactly that experience.
That has literally happened to me, Mike. I was holding my coffee, feeling perfectly serene. A gust came and the lid flew right off. Coffee everywhere.
See, March is constantly trying to trick you. You begin to feel that hopeful flutter of spring, only for March to whisper, nope, not quite yet.
March is like that friend who enthusiastically promises, I'll be there in 5 minutes, and then proceeds to arrive a full 2 hours later. It's a total prankster.
Oh, that is the perfect analogy, Mike. And speaking of perfect, there's actually a really fantastic English expression about March weather.
Have you ever heard the saying, March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb? It's a classic.
Oh, yes, you're absolutely right. The ground in March is often very muddy. Muddy means the ground is wet and mixed with dirt.
So you end up with this soft, sticky dirt everywhere. It gets on your shoes, your trousers, even your dog's paws.
My shoes are consistently muddy in March. I try to walk through the park, enjoying the fresh air, and my pristine white shoes inevitably become thoroughly brown shoes.
So March and white shoes are definitely not friends either. It sounds like very few things are safe from March's unpredictable nature.
Nothing is safe in March, but you know what is really nice? Sometimes you get those precious moments when the sun actually breaks through the clouds.
Yes, I absolutely adore those moments. They feel like little gifts. What do we call them in English?
We call them bright spells. A bright spell is simply a short but very welcome period of sunshine that appears between the clouds.
So the sky might be gray and overcast, and then suddenly sunshine. Maybe for just 20 or 30 minutes. It feels miraculous.
Exactly. You might hear on the weather report, expect cloudy skies with some bright spells this afternoon.
And everyone gets so disproportionately excited about those 20 minutes of sunshine. People immediately rush outside.
They act like this is it. The glorious summer has finally arrived. They stop whatever they're doing just to soak it in.
We really do, don't we? People act like they haven't seen a single ray of sunshine in years. They'll be sitting on benches.
Standing on balconies, even turning their faces directly up to the sky, just feeling the warmth. It's quite a sight.
It is so true. We collectively become like sunflowers, simply turning our faces towards the light, wherever it may briefly appear.
Okay, so to recap, March weather is famously unpredictable, sometimes offering mild moments, often making the ground muddy.
And then there are those sudden gusts of wind, interspersed with glorious but fleeting bright spells. That is an awful lot happening in just one single month.
It really is. But you know what else happens in March, Mike? And this, for me, is absolutely my favorite part of the month.
Oh, do tell. I'm ready for some good news after all this talk of allergies and mud.
Nature starts to wake up. It's the official beginning of the world's grand reawakening.
Oh yes, this is truly the beautiful, redeeming side of March. This is what makes all the unpredictability worthwhile.
After what often feels like endless months of gray, cold, often boring winter, March is the month when everything starts growing again.
And honestly, there's something about it that feels incredibly magical, like watching a spell being cast before your very eyes.
It truly does. It's like the entire world is slowly, gently stirring awake from a very, very long and deep sleep.
Yes, everything was brown, barren, and empty just a few weeks ago, and now suddenly vibrant color is making its glorious return.
Flowers begin to bloom. To bloom means when flowers open up their petals and display their beautiful colors for the very first time.
You can walk through a park and almost overnight you suddenly see little yellow daffodils and purple crocuses everywhere. Where did they even come from?
They were simply hiding underground, patiently waiting for the signal that March provides. You can say, the flowers are blooming early this year.
Beautiful. And the trees, Anna, have you really noticed the trees in March? They're undergoing such a transformation.
Yes, I absolutely have. The trees start to blossom. Blossom is quite similar to bloom, but we typically use it specifically for trees.
Especially fruit trees, like the magnificent cherry trees. They blossom with those unbelievably beautiful pink and white flowers.
So incredibly pretty. When you see those delicate pink and white petals, you know spring must be just around the corner.
And it's not just flowers and trees, is it? Small green plants also start pushing their way up from the very ground.
Yes, they sprout. To sprout means when a small plant courageously pushes through the earth and begins to grow.
It's like a tiny, determined green finger coming out of the earth, reaching for the sun. A funny but accurate image.
That's a great way to put it. You might say, the seeds I planted last month are finally starting to sprout.
You can see these little green sprouts popping up in gardens and parks everywhere. It truly feels like new life is bursting forth.
For our wonderful listeners, we'd love to hear from you. What is the very first sign of spring where you live?
Is it flowers blooming, the sweet sound of birds singing their morning songs, or simply the arrival of consistently warmer weather? Tell us in the comments.
Yes, we really want to know. But Mike, you mentioned flowers blooming and trees blossoming. While that sounds utterly wonderful and picturesque,
For you, personally, it means something rather terrible, doesn't it? The beautiful side of March comes with a personal cost.
yes, my arch nemesis. Because unfortunately, when flowers bloom and trees blossom, they release pollen into the air.
And pollen is sniffles. What exactly is pollen for those who might not know?
Pollen is that incredibly tiny, often yellowish powder that comes directly from flowers, trees, and grasses. You can't always visibly see it.
But it is absolutely everywhere in the air during the spring season. It's practically invisible but powerfully present.
And when that microscopic pollen makes its way into your nose and your eyes, your body reacts.
My body goes into full alarm mood. It mistakenly registers it as a dangerous invader even though it's just tiny flower powder. It's a complete overreaction.
And that rather dramatic but very common reaction is called hay fever.
Hay fever is a very widespread allergic condition, primarily caused by sensitivity to pollen. It's no fun at all.
Your nose starts running uncontrollably, your eyes become red and incredibly itchy, and you find yourself sneezing nonstop.
That is precisely what is happening to me right this very moment, Anna. You've perfectly described my current state of being.
Yes, I can hear it. So you can often say, I get terrible hay fever every single spring.
Or, my hay fever is really bad today. I simply cannot stop sneezing. These are phrases I use almost daily in March.
And millions of people all around the world experience this exact same problem every spring. Listeners, do you get hay fever?
Or are you one of the lucky ones who are immune to this seasonal misery? Please let us know.
If you don't get hay fever, honestly, we are incredibly jealous of your robust immune system. Utterly, utterly jealous.
Very jealous. And here's a really useful social tip for our listeners. If someone looks like they're feeling unwell, perhaps a bit sniffly or with red eyes, but it's March,
Do not automatically ask, oh, do you have a cold? Instead, try asking, is it hay fever?
yes, that's a much, much better approach because in March, most of the time, those symptoms are indeed due to hay fever, not a common cold.
And the person will probably exhale a grateful sigh and say, yes, oh my goodness, the pollen is absolutely killing me today.
It's a very normal, very understandable March conversation, a shared suffering.
Very normal, and for the sufferer, very sad. Now, Mike, since March weather is so notoriously unpredictable,
How do you manage to dress yourself in the morning? Because I personally find this to be the most stressful decision of the day.
it truly is the hardest thing about March, isn't it? I genuinely never know what to wear. It's a daily conundrum.
Same here. Some days you definitely need a very warm, thick coat. Other days, a simple light jacket is perfectly sufficient.
And then, frustratingly, sometimes you seem to need both in the exact same day. It's an exercise in layering and futility.
That's precisely why I always carry a windbreaker with me. It's my essential March accessory.
A windbreaker, for our listeners, is a thin, very light jacket that offers excellent protection from the wind.
And if you're lucky, it might also provide a little bit of protection from a very light drizzle of rain.
Windbreakers are absolutely perfect for March because they're not heavy or bulky, they fold up incredibly small.
And most importantly, they offer that crucial protection from those sudden, surprising gusts of wind we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. They are a March lifesaver.
I always, without fail, keep a windbreaker tucked into my bag throughout March. You truly never know when you're going to need it.
Smart move, Mike. It's like your personal March survival tool, isn't it? Indispensable.
My windbreaker accompanies me everywhere from March all the way through to May. I honestly feel naked without it. It's a part of me.
Naked? That's quite dramatic, Mike. But I totally understand the sentiment. March without a reliable windbreaker is indeed a dangerous game.
It really is. 1 minute you're perfectly fine, enjoying a mild moment. The next minute a gust hits and you're shivering uncontrollably. Basically, yes.
What about you, Anna? Any specific March habits or rituals that you engage in every year?
Actually, yes. I did something last weekend that I faithfully do every single year, right around this exact time.
Oh, do tell. What secret March tradition do you uphold?
I opened all the windows in my apartment to air it out. It felt wonderful.
Ooh, air out. That's a great phrase. What exactly does to air out mean for our learners?
To air out means to deliberately open the windows, usually in your home, and let fresh air flow inside.
After keeping everything tightly closed up all winter, which we tend to do to keep warm, the house can feel quite heavy, a bit old, and definitely stuffy.
I know that feeling so well. That moment when you open the windows for the very first time after the long winter, it's just amazing.
It feels absolutely incredible. There's nothing quite like that sensation of fresh, cool air just flowing freely through every single room.
You might say, I really need to air out the house. It honestly smells like winter in here.
It smells like winter. That's so funny, but I know precisely what you mean by that. Everyone knows that distinct smell.
And March, with its changing air, is truly the perfect time to air everything out. Open those windows wide, let the fresh air in.
And suddenly, the entire house feels alive again. It's a remarkable transformation just from a simple breeze.
I love that image. The house feels alive again. And honestly, I think people themselves start to feel more alive again in March too.
Oh, I absolutely agree, Mike. There's something undeniably special about March that makes me feel like significant change is on its way.
Yes, like good things are definitely on the horizon. You can almost sense them approaching.
On the horizon, that is a simply fantastic expression for our listeners. When something is on the horizon, it means it is coming soon.
You can almost feel it arriving, can't you? It's like looking far away into the distance and just barely seeing something appearing.
It's not quite here yet, not right in front of you, but you know with certainty that it's definitely approaching.
So, warmer weather is on the horizon, spring is on the horizon, even better days are on the horizon.
Perfect examples. In March, you genuinely start to feel it. The days are noticeably longer, aren't they? The sun feels brighter, even if it's still cool.
Something good, something genuinely hopeful is most definitely on the horizon. It's an undeniable feeling.
And you know what's truly interesting about that? Just the simple act of knowing that something good is coming can completely change how you feel today.
That is so profoundly true. Even on a cold, gray, and rather miserable March morning, you can still think, okay, but spring is close.
Exactly. And I genuinely believe that hope, that powerful underlying feeling, really helps people to snap out of their winter mood.
Oh, snap out of. That's another brilliant phrase. What exactly does to snap out of something mean?
To snap out of something means to suddenly, often quite quickly, stop being in a bad mood or to shake off a lazy, unproductive feeling.
It's like someone claps their hands sharply in front of your face, and you suddenly wake up or become alert again.
Oh, so March helps me snap out of my prolonged winter laziness. I can definitely relate to that.
Or you might say, I need to snap out of this tired feeling and go for a brisk walk. It implies an abrupt change of state.
That's a really useful expression. But Mike, do you genuinely think March actually helps people snap out of it so easily?
You don't sound entirely convinced, Mike. Why the skepticism?
Well, I'm just a little bit suspicious, that's all.
Why? Lay it on me.
Because March gives you one incredibly beautiful, gloriously sunny day, and you immediately think, yes, spring is here, life is absolutely amazing.
And then the very next day, it rains relentlessly for 12 hours straight, and you're right back under your blanket feeling thoroughly disappointed.
Okay, I admit that is a perfectly fair point. March can definitely be a tease, a big, big tease.
But I still think the underlying feeling of hope is very real. Even if the weather isn't perfect yet, people truly do start feeling more hopeful in March.
I completely agree. Even just a few of those bright spells can dramatically change your entire mood and outlook.
So, listeners, does March make you feel more motivated, more alive, or do you still find it hard to shake off the winter blues? We truly want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, Mike, let's do a quick, concise review of the very useful words and expressions we've learned today.
Great idea, Anna. First up, we had unpredictable.
Meaning when you simply cannot guess what will happen next. March weather is so unpredictable.
Next, mild, meaning not too hot and not too cold, just pleasant and comfortable. It's a mild afternoon.
Then gust, a sudden, strong push of wind. A gust of wind almost blew my papers away.
Then muddy, when the ground is wet and mixed with dirt. My shoes are all muddy from the park.
Then, after that, bright spells, those short periods of lovely sunshine between the clouds. Cloudy with some bright spells later.
And then bloom, when flowers open up and show their colors for the first time. The flowers are blooming beautifully in the garden.
Then blossom, when trees, especially fruit trees, produce their flowers in spring. The cherry trees are blossoming so prettily.
Followed by sprout, when a small plant pushes through the ground and starts to grow. The seeds are starting to sprout.
We learned about pollen, the tiny powder from flowers and trees that causes allergies. There is so much pollen in the air today.
And the allergic reaction to it, hay fever. My hay fever is absolutely terrible this month.
Our indispensable garment for March, the windbreaker, a thin, light jacket for wind and light rain. Always carry a windbreaker in March.
And then air out, to open windows and let fresh air come inside. I really need to air out the bedroom.
And our hopeful expression, on the horizon, meaning something good is coming soon. Spring is definitely on the horizon.
Finally, snap out of, to suddenly stop a bad mood or a lazy feeling. March helps me snap out of my winter laziness.
And of course, the classic English idiom for the month, March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb.
Those are truly useful words and phrases for talking about March or indeed any spring month.
And now, as always, we sincerely want to hear from you, our fantastic listeners.
Yes, tell us in the comments, what is March like where you live? Is it cold, surprisingly warm, rainy, or completely unpredictable?
Write just one or two simple sentences in English. For example, March is very rainy where I live. I always need my windbreaker.
Or perhaps, March is beautiful here. The trees start to blossom, and I absolutely love it.
We honestly read every single comment you leave, and writing in English, even just a little, is truly fantastic practice.
Even one sentence is enough to get started. Just try it. That is precisely how you continuously improve your English skills.
And if you thoroughly enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please do subscribe to Clarity English Studio.
And give us a like. It truly helps us reach more learners. Also, share this with a friend who's learning English.
Perhaps someone who has hay fever and has finally found the correct word for their suffering. Spread the knowledge.
Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us today. Keep practicing your English, keep listening actively.
And always remember, even when March weather is being its most crazy and unpredictable self, spring is always on the horizon.
Stay warm, stay curious, and we will absolutely see you in the very next episode of Clarity English Studio.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.